Everybody, this is our best strikers in MMA tier list as of February 2022. So a few things first. These are the best strikers as of this month here. So we're not including people in their prime. So for example, Conor McGregor in his prime, obviously a very top tier, but nowadays, not so much there. Also, we had to whittle this list down a lot. So if you're missing your favorite people, that makes sense. We had a lot more, but we figured we didn't want to make this video 2 hours. So this might change when we do another in the future. All right, with that, let's begin. So I want to be clear that none of these people are bad strikers.
I mean, just being included on this list and in this conversation means you're really fucking good.
Yes, the way we chose this though is that if you're a champion in the UFC, you have to be on this list because you're a champion. You need to be tested in every aspect, and everybody in the pound for pound list as of now is included as well. Minus John Jones, I think.
And then some other obvious talented striking choices.
Yeah, I think we should just start right off the bat. I think we'll start with the S. Izzy, I think, is very clearly S tier. Does anybody disagree?
No, Izzy is S tier. There's no questions asked. Izzy's S tier.
Yeah. I would say we're gonna go through who else is in the S tier, but I would put him in the lower range of the S tiers, just based on the fact that he did, like, Jan Blachowicz did outstrike him 2-1 in those first 3 rounds. We can't ignore that. And I in my opinion, I feel like if you're an S tier, it should be like if you're striking with anybody else, like, you're gonna win most, like, generally. So that's my my standards for being on S tier.
I think that's fair.
I struck pretty much everyone except for losing 2-1 to Jan. So
that did happen though. We can't ignore this.
Right.
I mean, it did. Like very few people are perfect. So the fact that we've never seen him get, like, in MMA at least, we've never seen him get knocked out. Like, the worst we've seen him, he lost 1 round more than he won.
And
to a much bigger longer than.
So
yeah, but arguably
he's undefeated in his own right still.
Yeah, but arguably like being the smaller, faster person should help you in the striking department.
I think this brings up.
I think we just have enough evidence to put Izzy in S tier. Like, he's done too much with his striking to not be.
Yeah, I think with our criteria too, we measure effectiveness as well as technique. He's really good with his technique. He's also very effective in MMA, which is an important aspect as well of this.
Yeah, no, it's S tier.
Okay, and I think the second one in S tier, we have to give it to Piotr Jan.
100%.
So are we? Okay, so we're not just going like.
No, I think we're getting the easy ones out of the way first because I feel like our S tier is the easiest one to do. You know.
Yeah, let's just knock out I think there's 3 obvious S tiers.
Okay, Peter Jan's clearly S tier. He's in the best skills division in the UFC, in my opinion, the bantamweight division, and he outstrikes everybody in the bantamweight division. So clear S tier.
This is the easiest one. He's just so good.
Yeah, he's really good, really technical. The fact him versus Sandhagen, amazing fight. He'd be top of any division.
Yeah.
This third S tier, I'm actually curious. I would probably say Cyril Gane. What would you guys say?
Cyril Gane. Undeniably, Cyril Gane has to be S tier. I mean, look what he does to heavyweights. Like, he's a fucking heavyweight, and look what he does to them. Like, they can't do anything to him on the feet. They can't hit him clean. Name the time that Cyril Gane has taken a clean punch to the head. Like, in the stand.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
Volkov did connect a couple times.
With jab, not like power, not like with a clean power shot. Like, hit him with jabs, hit him with a cross, hit him with a lot of leg kicks, but he never hit him with like a clean, stiff power shot that Cyril that hurt. You know what I mean? That made Cyril react. Like,
yeah,
he's so good. He's so good. Like, he really is. He's the best heavyweight striker in MMA history, and it's not even really particularly close.
I probably agree with you. Cyril Gane, S tier.
We can worry about the actual order of these people a little bit later too. Like, the fact that it's Izzy, Jan, and Gane has no indication of their actual best striking strength. We'll mess with this later.
I mean, I think those are the three obvious S tier ones. If we do decide anyone else belongs in there, well, that will happen as we go. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I think our next obvious one. It's hard to pick a worst striker, but I think the worst striker on here is probably Glover Teixeira in D tier.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, Glover Teixeira is not a good striker. I mean, he's really slow. He has power, but yeah, I mean, he's like 42. Like he's just slowed down a lot, and
He's gonna be at the bottom of D tier when this is all said and done. Like that's just how it's gonna go.
Okay.
From this point, let's just go in order because I think we got the
exactly.
obvious ones out
We
of the
got
way.
the
At top
easiest
to
one out
bottom.
of the way. Ngannou, where do we put this man?
I think B tier is fair because so on one hand, like power is a God given thing, on the other hand, like is Francis Ngannou really like the only person in the world who, like, you know what I mean, who's been blessed with this? Like it takes skill to make that power do what you want it to do.
That's
yeah,
fair.
I would put him at B tier. Yeah, his power. I mean, yeah, we have to factor in his power a little bit. I just feel like so like in certain fights he can be like technical if he wants to, but then like I feel like I see other fights where like he kind of throws technique out the window, like against Jairzinho Rosenstrike. Like he just kind of bum rushed him and like swung swung punches like he's retarded, to be honest. So
I think that's part of why he has enough fight IQ now to actually adjust his plan. Like he didn't try to bum rush Zero Gon.
yeah,
He like tried it, then he switched up his plan. So I think he's smart enough to be in B tier and manage his strength well.
yeah. I think B tier's good. This is the part where I think we kind of give the heavyweights a little more privilege because like I feel like if Francis Ngannou's technique compared to like a bantamweight is like not even close. Like a average bantamweight striker is a lot better or a lot better than Francis Ngannou, excuse me. But you know we I guess we kind of at least like I would like just add a little more weight because he is doing this at heavyweights and he is like very effective with his striking at heavyweight.
Right. And I think part of this is also his chin. It's like at a heavyweight you can knock out or get knocked out. Stipe could have knocked him out in that first fight and even the second fight, but he didn't. So
Yeah, that hook he landed on Stipe was very good.
beautiful.
That was a very beautiful shot.
B tier is fair. Volkanovski, Alexander Volkanovski. I think A tier.
He's either at like the absolute top of A tier or the bottom of S tier.
I don't think he's
That's exactly how I feel. He's like that's yeah, Alex is exactly like right like I agree with Alex 100%. He's either top A tier or bottom.
I can't tell it, but I can't tell if he should be top of A or bottom of S. I say for right now we put him in top of A, but as we start filling up the A tier, I'm definitely open to honestly, why is he not S tier? Like
I do think he's S tier. I think
the
he is
only
S tier.
person who's ever had anything for him on the feet was Max for a couple rounds.
Yeah.
Didn't Chad drop him?
No.
Yeah, he did. I think Chad did drop him.
Yeah.
He might have slipped. I don't think he dropped him.
But well, I mean, he still destroyed Chad. Like,
yeah, I think part of why, and I'll make the argument. I'm fine putting him in the bottom of S tier too, is that in terms of the competition he's fought, he didn't strike with Jose Aldo. He held up against the fence. Max, he did a pretty good job of outstriking him. I won't deny this, but Max also kind of rocked him. And according to Dermer, he's never lost a second fight. Max destroyed him. It's like not even close, 50-43. And I guess outstriking Ortega, it's okay, but it's Ortega.
I don't remember that Aldo fight. But I mean, if you look at the striking numbers, he dominated Aldo.
Yeah, but like he held up against the fence for a good portion of it is the problem.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, so
I need to rewatch that fight, but like I mean, like outstriking Aldo is pretty good.
I'm good with the top of A tier actually, because now when I think about it, like comparing him to like Izzy and Jan and Gon, I'm not sure if he I don't know if he exists. I'm good with the top of A tier for right now.
Personally, I would go with S, but we could see later.
We'll
I
see.
would
We'll
go.
leave him here, then we can change at the end. Because I think Izzy, Jan, and Ghana definitely fought more top tier competition than Volk. As bad as that sounds.
All right,
Figueiredo.
Figueiredo.
Figueiredo, I think he's B. Similar to, I think he has like kind of a Francis thing going on, where like he has some good technique, but like a lot of it is the fact that he hits you very hard.
Yeah, I'm fine with B as well.
As well.
Yeah, he does rely on his power a lot. He gets hit a lot as well, but yeah, I mean, he kind of relies on the fact that he hits harder than his other competition. So
I agree. I think this is going to be really tough because lightweight is a shark snake, but Justin Gaethje, my immediate inclination is A tier.
oh, like I'm like way different. I'm thinking like B or C.
B or C? Interesting. Why?
Because I think Justin Gaethje relies on the fact that if you trade punch for punch for them, he's not going to give up, and whereas you might give up. Like I think that's kind of Justin Gaethje's game plan. I don't think his technique is particularly good. Again, I do think he relies on his chin a lot, and if he could trade blow for blow for you, he would. And I don't think that requires a lot of skill.
So I would be inclined to agree with you, aside from the fact that he has some of the most disgusting leg kicks in the history of MMA. So just for that alone, I'm inclined to put him in B tier no matter what. At least B tier, just because those leg kicks are so nasty and he does have hands to go with them. I would say he's probably at the top of B or the bottom of. I would probably say like towards the top of B, maybe in between, maybe above Francis, or maybe in between Francis and Figgy.
I don't know. I actually think Josh makes a really compelling case. Because I didn't think about the fact he does rely on his chin a lot, to get things done, which I guess is not necessarily bad. We allow like Ngannou and Figgy with their attributes. I think B tier is a good idea. I think I was looking at how effective he was because he's pretty effective, but he definitely, if you have somebody if he had a worse chin, he'd be the new Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think B tier. Yeah, B tier is good.
Also, shout out to Cody.
In between Ngannou and Figueiredo makes sense to me.
Yeah, we can arrange these. We can arrange these a little later.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Usman, I think, is C or D tier.
C tier. C tier.
C tier. I would say C. I would.
So, like, obviously, the fact that he has fuck you power now, and the fact that he can threaten the takedown makes a big difference. But like, he switches stances good. He has a really nasty jab. He has a really good straight. I think he's well on the way to becoming like B tier too. Like he's getting better.
I would say the biggest thing about Usman to me was like I thought that punch he landed on Jorge was just so well done that I can't put him in D tier, but I can't put him like at B tier with these other guys that we're gonna put on B tier. So that just means he has to be on C tier for me.
I agree. I think we overrated striking a lot because I think this is partly like a criteria thing because he's a pretty effective striker, but the fact that Kobe rocked him a few times, the fact that Kobe could like compete with him shows that these things are very attribute related. Masvidal arguably won the first round and one of the judges had it for him in round 1 as well. And a lot of his stuff happened because he threatened the takedown on Masvidal, and the fact that Gilbert Burns could like rock him, it wasn't a knockdown technically, but it was kind of a knockdown. Shows
Gilbert
that
Burns is hard.
competent. Then I think you could beat him. That's why I have a Sensei Luke. If they ever fight, he's going to beat him, but probably Shemaev will beat him.
Yeah, I think Usman is a solid C tier fighter.
Okay. Now here's Conor McGregor. Should we create a Conor McGregor S tier for him?
Yes. No. I mean, prime Conor is obviously S tier, one of the greatest strikers in the history of MMA. Conor right now, I'm inclined to put at the way bottom of B tier, like behind Gaethje, and behind probably everyone else we put in there. He's still got great hands. Like, he landed some good clean shots on Poirier in the second fight. Still got some nice kicks, the spinning hook kicks, the spinning body kicks. Yeah, I think the bottom of B tier is pretty fair. He still has the skills, but it's just not the same as it used to be.
I agree with Dermer 100% on this one. I think he's lower B tier. He's kind of he moved away from what made him really good, I thought, early on in his career, which was like his movement and like that karate style. And
Punch butt with the dork in the park.
yeah, exactly. Like he moved away from the touch butt shit. Also, we kind of have to, if we're talking about right now, right? Like Conor is coming off a pretty nasty leg injury. Like we don't even know how good he is when he comes back. Like he might come back and it's like he's like total shit. Like we don't know. So
or he's Cyber McGregor.
No. There's no way he's gonna come back and be better. Like that's not possible. So
Right.
how just the question is how worse is Conor gonna be when he comes back? Is my question. So
I think I agree with you guys. Bottom of B or close to it because, I mean, he lost to Dustin pretty badly both times. He got outstruck. He got rocked by Dustin. A lot of that maybe could be attributed to the wrestling, but I think the fact that he boxed for so long made his game a lot worse because he picked up a lot of bad habits.
Yep.
I remember like Valentina Shevchenko analyzing his stuff, saying like in boxing, you like when you get swarmed, you do like this, but in MMA, you should do this. So he definitely has bad boxing habits. I think he's better than Usman in the striking, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
B is gonna be a very crowded tier. I think I feel like that's.
I mean, that makes sense. It's the middle one, so
Yeah.
Jared Cannonier, I kind of want to put him in S tier.
Not
S tier, not S tier. My bad. I'm in C tier.
Yeah, C tier makes sense to me.
I was gonna put him at B, but I'm not. I'm also not upset with C. I mean, I think he has better hands than Usman.
Yeah, I think he's probably towards the top of C tier, but I won't want to go much higher than that.
Right.
Yeah.
I think his power is the difference maker with a lot of his
stuff. Yeah, he has power. Yeah, not much else to add about Cannonier.
Glover Teixeira alone in D tier.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
These are all subject to change, so.
Right. Sean Strickland, I think a solid B tier.
I don't know. He's either way at the bottom of B or like the top of C.
I agree with Dermer again here. I think he's either bottom B or top C.
I'm inclined to say top C because like the shit he does, I feel like is predicated on the fact that he's not fighting people who are that good. like
yeah,
he can't do shit against Izzy and Whitaker. Like he can't just 1-2 Robert Whitaker or especially Israel.
I think
like Izzy will be fucking jockeying around the cage laughing like, is this dude fucking serious?
The problem is that it's such a big range at middleweight that like I think you could easily make the case you could put like Robert at S tier if you really wanted to. So the fact that he would lose to 2 S tiers, I don't think is necessarily a bad indication. I think I think
Cannonier knocks him out too, probably.
Yeah, really? I was gonna make that point. Like if we're gonna look at this tier list, like if Cannonier's a C tier, and then if we match up Cannonier and Strickland, like I think that's a good fight. I don't know who wins.
I think Strickland gets his face off. It's easy.
Maybe, but there's also a chance Cannonier just knocks him the fuck out. So I think Strickland at the top of C tier is fair.
Sure, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I agree.
I think part of the problem is that I like Strickland because of his meme style, hands down, blots forward. But when you have freaking who was that boxer coach that tweeted that he was doing really well during the fight against Hermanson?
I don't know.
Yeah, but the fact that like
Teddy Atlas?
Who? Yeah, Atlas, I think.
Yeah, Teddy Atlas.
The fact that he was complimenting him, I was like, that maybe he's seeing something we don't.
I mean, Strickland has very good MMA boxing, but it's also extremely limited. And again, it's predicated on the fact that like the guy he's fighting isn't an elite striker.
That's fair.
Whereas the shit like even the shit like Gaichi and Conor, they can do it against anybody. Where like Strickland, I feel like when he comes up against somebody like Israel, like none of that shit's gonna work.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think I could see him beating Connor or like Gaethje though.
Like that kind of style,
Yeah, just a jab.
maybe. But I like if like let's just say Conor and Strickland were the same size. I think Conor would like
Well,
light
that's
him
why
up.
we have him top of C or bottom of B.
That's
Isn't
what
that
I'm saying. So, but I think, but it's still a decent fight. But I think
um
top B is fair for Strickland.
George Masvidal?
Honestly, right next to Conor, like right there with him. I think he's kind of. I'd put him right around there. Like
Um.
he has good technique. I mean he's different because obviously like he's not like he was never S tier. He was never that good. But I mean he has good technique. He knows how to deliver his shots well. But at the end of the day, like he can't get the job done against the best guys.
Okay.
Yeah. I do think he's B tier. I would put him. I would put him like maybe higher up in the B tier list. At this point.
Definitely under Gaethje though.
Sure.
One of the things that's kind of hard for me with Masvidal to rate is that well, I guess since we're doing it right now, but he has a lot of really close losses. But I guess if we're doing it right now, yeah, he's definitely better than a lot of people.
Yeah, he's a good striker for sure. B tier. We could like again we could rearrange
At the end,
these whenever, but yeah, he's
this
a
one
solid B tier.
I think is an interesting one. Alexander Volkov. I think I might put him in A tier or top of B.
Volkov, no.
What? No, he's one of the best strikers in the division.
But like, who cares? Look who's on that list. Like
He had a really competitive fight. He had a decently competitive fight against Cyril Gahn.
that was
He's
not
like
competitive at
everybody in the
all.
division
Zero one
too.
every round.
He had the most competitive fight Cyril Gahn's ever had, minus the wrestling and striking.
I would put him at the top or close to the top of B tier. I do think he's technically a better boxer than Francis Ngannou is, in my opinion.
I think he's at the
But then,
bottom of the top of C.
but then I think whenever we're gonna fill up the rest of the A tier, like I don't think I'm gonna associate Volkov with the other guys that are gonna be at A tier. Like especially like even if you compare him now, like if you compare Volkanovski striking versus Volkov, it's not very comparable. So I would put him at the B tier.
I
I
put him
would put him above Ngannou,
way
honestly.
at the bottom of B.
What? No. I think he's one of the best strikers in the division.
Yeah, I do think he is one of the best strikers in the division, no doubt.
But everyone on this list is one of the best strikers in the division.
I think technique-wise.
Literally everyone on this list is one of the best strikers in the division.
I think technique-wise.
No, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Almost everybody.
We'll put
95%.
All
I
right.
just think like okay, so like Cyril, he had nothing forgotten, which is okay, obviously. Lewis knocked him the fuck out. He hasn't he hasn't beaten anybody that makes me say like he's fucking like he hasn't outstruck anybody that was so impressive that makes me say like he should be any higher than the bottom of B tier.
I think it's very clear that, like, for example, like if you had him versus Derrick Lewis, I think is a perfect. He just got caught in that fight. I could
But like
see he can probably technically outstrike Ngannou, but just get caught.
that's a knock on you though. Like if you get caught, like that's a
And then
knock.
Cyril
The best
Gahn, his only other loss was Curtis Blades, who just wrestle fucked him. So I don't think he's actually been outstruck except by Cyril Gahn.
No,
Yeah,
I just
you
don't
really
think,
think about it, the only person who outstruck him is Cyril Gahn. That is.
I don't think he has the wins to be like he hasn't outstruck people like some of these other guys have. Like who's his best win?
I think this is part of the criteria, though, is that like he doesn't have that power, but technique-wise, he's never been outstruck except by Gahn.
But like he hasn't outstruck people. Like neither has fucking Fiziev. But like you have to accept the fact that like this
Bobby Green.
he hasn't faced that good of people.
No,
He checked. I mean, if we're really being honest, like he did outstrike Derrick Lewis. Like he outstruck him pretty badly.
Yeah, of course. But like like then he got knocked out by him. Like who cares if he outstruck? You know what I mean? Like
Oh no, that's
Cyril
part of
Gane
why.
destroyed Derrick Lewis.
Wait, so how much are you valuing power here? Because in this case, we should move Ngannou to A tier. Because
I'm
Volkov has
I'm
never been
valuing
out
the fact that like
except by Gon.
Volkov, like I don't like. Okay, his technique might look really pretty, and like he might have all this. Well, like he doesn't have the wins to be like considered like in the company of some of these other guys. Like he's
Best
never been
striker
anybody
there
that good.
because he's lost via wrestling and he's lost via getting caught. This is just strikers.
Yeah.
I know it's just, like he hasn't outstruck like great strikers.
All right,
And
let's split the difference and put him at B tier and move on.
Put him at like the bottom of B. Like I don't
now we're
think
putting him at the top.
No, he's mid to top B, mid top B.
Vicente Luke, solid mid B tier.
Yeah, he's solid mid B tier again. He's B tier.
I think he's better than Gaichi though.
B tier.
Yeah, I would say he's probably they're actually a pretty good comp with each other. Like they're just two guys that have really heavy hands and rely on their chin. But I do think Luke is a little more technical than Gaichi is. But they're kind of similar. Like they're kind of like the same fighter in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I just think that Vicente Luke is a slightly more competent version than Gaichi.
Gaichi, yeah.
Gaichi.
Anyways, yeah, solid B tier.
Easy. Nate Diaz, we need to create SS tier, right? He's the baddest motherfucker.
He's S for Stockton. He's Stockton tier.
Oh, Nate Diaz, C tier, right next to Strickland.
I don't know about that. Well, I think fair enough. If we do the same for Usman, where he relies a lot on his attributes, I think that's fair.
Yeah, he's I do think Nate Diaz is C tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should we basically have like a Glover tier. Like, should we add a new tier?
It's okay. I think the problem is that again, these are all good strikers, and then Glover's just uniquely bad. We had to include all the champions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a bit of a hot take later, but we'll leave that for later. Should we? I don't know. Maybe we should just call this Glover tier.
Yeah, it's Glover tier. There's
Brandon Moreno. I think B tier. Same, like just less than Figgy slightly.
Slightly put him next to Figgy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really like his technique, to be honest.
I think it's okay. I think he has a nice jab. He has decent movement. His head movement's a little suspect at times.
I think you need to. Actually, I might put him at the top of C tier. This might seem controversial, but he relies so much on his chin that if he didn't have that, he would have been knocked out. And he submitted Figgy after he had a bad weight cut. Like Figgy would just knock out half the division, but Moreno has a god tier chin. So maybe C tier, or is that too harsh?
I'm not mad. I'm not mad about a C tier. I'm not mad.
No, that's way too harsh. Considering you have like Alexander Volkov and B tier, who beats like whose best win is Marcin Tybura. Like that's not a thing.
No,
we're just measuring
Volkov destroyed
we're not measuring him as a whole fighter.
Overeem, how old was Overeem?
We're measuring Brandon Moreno right now because we already had our conversation about Volkov. We could talk about him later.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we have guys like that in B tier, Moreno has to be B tier also. Like,
I think he relies too much on his chin. That's his problem.
I would put Moreno bottom B, top C area.
I'd have him right by Figgy, like, because if we're gonna say he relies on his chin too much, like you could say Figgy relies on his power too much and his chin himself. So,
I think the difference.
I think those knocks are valid on him too.
I think the difference is that if we include effectiveness, he lost to Figgy both times clearly.
Yeah, and also like Figgy, like he's really accurate. Like he has really beautiful knockouts. Like the two knockouts he had against Benavidez were just really great, like well placed shots. You know, or no, he knocked him out the first time, but like he destroyed Benavidez with just like really well placed shots on top of like his power, and then he destroyed Alex Perez as well.
I think that when we look at Brandon Moreno's win, a lot of them come by submission too, right? Like he beat Alex Perez by like tapping him, didn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't really have knockouts. Like he doesn't really knock people out or anything.
Yeah, I don't think there's any knock of him as a mixed martial artist. If we did overall, he's probably a pound for pound, like X. I don't know what amount. We'd have to make that list separately, but
Yeah.
I just don't think his striking is the best. His grappling is way better.
Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, he probably does belong at C tier.
Yeah. Derrick Lewis, S tier, because this is, I think, the pinnacle of power versus technique, right?
Yeah,
he's better than a lot.
I want to say C tier.
I don't know where to.
He's bottom B, top C area.
I don't know. Because this is fun. He outstruck Ngannou, technically speaking. And if
we
they fought
can't.
again, I don't know if Ngannou would beat him, to be honest.
But if we made this list 3 years ago, Ngannou would not be B tier. Like Ngannou's got better.
That's fair.
I think he's right by Moreno.
C tier?
Yeah, I'm not mad with C tier for Derrick Lewis.
I think sure we'll put him C because he's the pinnacle. I could see him easily being A just because he's technically the most efficient fighter on this list in terms of knockout versus strike. But his technique's not pretty. But he's also really good at landing that one technique, which I think says something to his skill as a striker.
Well, I would argue Ngannou's more efficient because Ngannou, like if you look at his fights, like his fights are fucking like 50 seconds long, and he throws 2 shots, and one of them knocked the opponent out.
So I'm not mad with C tier, but he also loves Popeye, so we should put him at A tier for that.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Popeyes is a really good fast food. Actually, I have some Popeyes like yesterday, so I have a 6
very
over
nice.
big one.
Very nice.
Not sponsored.
All right.
This was gonna break my heart, but Wonder Boy, maybe even like 5 months ago, I'd put him at A tier very comfortably.
No, 5 months ago, he's B tier. He's B tier. That's where he is.
I would put him at the top, the tippy top of B tier.
No.
He's the tippy top.
Because the problem he hasn't been outstruck is the problem.
Except by Anthony Pettis.
What's with you in that one win? Like it was a fluke.
But like, why can't I say that about every fight? Like it was a fluke. Like
if we're being intellectually honest with each other, we know it was a fluke. Like 100 times, he wins 98 of those fights.
I mean, he got outstruck by Darren Till. He lost the Darren Till fight. Like I don't care what the media says. Like he lost the Darren Till. He got outstruck by Darren Till.
Darren Till's a weird one we're gonna place later, but I think like technique wise, the fact that Thompson, he's either A or B tier.
He's B tier. He's B tier.
He's not A tier. So if Luque is mid B, like Thompson is at least high B because like Thompson.
I mean, I don't think Luque should be mid B. I thought Luque should be way at the bottom of B, if not C. Like Luque is not the greatest striker in the world.
He's better than Gaichi, Conor, and Masvidal.
Yeah. No.
What? Yeah, no.
He's not better than Gaichi. He's not better than Gaichi at all.
He is better than Gaichi.
And I guess when we
striking, no.
Yes, he is. We'll discuss that at the end when we rearrange this list into like actual orders.
I would put him tippy top B. Tippy top.
I think his age is caught up with him is the problem.
I do.
That's another thing too. Like if this was like a year or two ago, he'd be at the top of B, but like right now, he's like middle of B, if that.
That's the problem. No, he's top of B or bottom of A because he outstruck.
He's not an A at all.
When he is outstruck is the problem. Like he got wrestled by Burns.
Darren Till outstruck him. That was when Darren Till outstruck him. Like he lost he got knocked down. He got outstruck by the numbers too.
I know you have a hate boner for Thompson for some reason, but like,
Thompson is the perfect example. Thompson is the perfect example of people falling in love with technique that isn't as effective as other. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
if you're gonna go back to that, you might as well say he made it to the world title with just technique, which just striking. He has like no wrestling, and that I think is the pinnacle. Of like,
no, if this list was if this list was made in 2016, Wonder Boy would be like S tier without question. But like this list is being made in 2022, and like he's B tier at best right now.
But this is where this is why I'm okay with top of B or like bottom of A, but we're measuring striking. We're not measuring wrestling.
But it's not just the. That's what I'm saying. He's gotten knocked out by Pettis. He got outstruck by Till. Like, like how many fucking passes does the guy get? Is like what? Like I don't get it. Oh well, that fight he got knocked or he got rocked or he got caught. It was a fluke. And
So
that fight was
let's
super
say
close.
let's say
Like when do we stop giving him a pass
let's
and
say
just say you
that
lost?
if Piotr Jan got caught with one shot, he's dominating the fight. Let's say he has 100 strikes to 2. Would you say that Piotr Jan's a bad striker?
No, but if that happened, I'm not saying Wonder was a bad striker. I'm saying, but like if you lose a close striking decision one fight and the next fight you get fucking caught by a punch, like that's a knock.
What about all the other fights are in between where he like completely outstruck his opponents?
But like everyone on this list has fights like that where they completely like look at who's in A tier, Volk, who's actually never been outstruck.
I thought you said Max Holloway beat him.
Okay. Let's just put him. Let's put him at B and move on. How about that?
Top
Like,
three.
the people who we have at like the top of the list now are people who've actually like they've like who's knocked out Piotr Jan or Izzy or Volk or Cyril Gahn. Like that doesn't happen. Like when have they lost a close striking decision? Like when has Peter Yan lost a close decision?
Table this. We all know we disagree pretty harshly. I think B is just right because of the even 6 months ago he beat A pretty comfortably.
Yeah. All right.
No.
Robert Whitaker.
A tier.
A tier.
A tier.
Robert Whitaker
Yeah.
is A tier.
Yeah. If you really wanted to, I wouldn't be mad if you argued that he's the bottom of S tier either. But I think A tier's pretty comfortable for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think the upcoming fight will actually tell a lot. I mean, if he beats Izzy, any way he can, he's S tier.
Would you want to argue he's bottom of S? Because I don't think no, he's not, because we'll talk about Darren Till later. Darren Till's such an interesting person. Well,
no, he's not. He's not bottom of S. He's A for sure.
A, solid A.
Yeah,
we have a lot of A tiers coming up.
Dustin.
A tier.
A tier.
A tier, easy.
Although I would say he's I would put him at the bottom of A tier.
Yeah.
He gets into a lot of wars. Like he got into a war with Dan Hooker, who, is a good fighter, but if you're a really good striker, you probably should have mopped the floor with Dan Hooker a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, he got into a war with Gaichi, got into a war with Alvarez. He just gets into a lot of dirty fights, but he has really good combinations. He throws like, what I like about him is like he's one of the few fighters that would throw like a 10-piece combination, whereas like a lot of fighters in the UFC are just like 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and I just think his boxing is just really crisp, really good.
I agree. I also this is going to be a weird distinguishing, but I don't know if he necessarily has a good chin as much as a ton of heart. Because it doesn't feel like he's always taking super clean strikes all the time, where he's like going to get knocked out or he gets zombie mode. I see that with like Gaichi, for example, but Dustin seems to roll really well with punches and just like chooses to not give up a lot of the time versus having a god tier chin.
So, yeah, maybe. Yeah, he also recovers really well. He's just super tough.
So. He also set the new meta for calf kicks for MMA. So
yeah, he destroyed Conor. Let's be real.
Well, let's be real. Jim Miller set the meta for calf kicks when he did that to Dustin, and then he stole Bobby Green striking with the shoulder roll. So
yeah,
Max bottom of A tier.
Yeah, Max is A tier.
Right with Dustin.
Yeah, right with Dustin.
I love Dustin. I think that if we took away the power difference, he definitely would beat Dustin. He didn't adjust to 155.
Yeah, but so Justin beat him twice.
Dustin, yeah.
Yeah, Dustin beat Max.
I mean, the first time Max was 20 years old, so.
I mean, Dustin was really young too at that point.
But he's more experienced. The fact that your fifth professional fight's Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
Pretty on short notice too, right? Or no?
I don't know about that, but it was his UFC debut too.
I think Max, pound for pound, is a better striker than Dustin.
it's so hard to tell. I
Yeah,
would favor Dustin. I would favor Dustin by a hair. I mean that the power advantage was real in that first fight.
He didn't adjust to the weight. He was a 145er fighting up. Dustin had about 4 years to adjust his body. He's a thick boy.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times have we seen like the guy go up a weight and fights even better? Like, I feel like a lot of times we get into this thing where if a guy moves up in weight and they do well, it's like, oh wow, he did a great job. But if he moves up in weight and doesn't do well, oh, it's because of the weight.
That's true though. What do you think, Dermer? Because my thing is I think if Max adjusted to the weight, he probably beats Dustin.
I think it's really hard to say because I'm not.
But I mean, like Max is never a power puncher. Like he like even at 145, he doesn't his shots don't wobble people.
I think Max and Dustin is the kind of thing that you could like go back and forth with every day on. Like one day it could be Max, one day it could be Dustin. I think whatever order's there, it doesn't really. It's not that, you know what I mean. It's not the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah, it's not.
Kevin Gaslum, bottom of C tier. I don't want to
right now bottom of C tier. Like a few years ago, he was higher, but as of right now, like
yeah. I mean,
wait, do you want to put him in D tier? This might be a really hot take.
No. I would say he's top of C tier.
What?
He's top.
I think he got outstruck by Cannonier.
Yeah, he's like towards the bottom of C tier.
He also relies on his chin a lot. Is my problem is that he has maybe the best chin or one of the top chins in MMA, and if he didn't have that, he would have been Dunzo. Like, look at him versus Robert Whittaker and Adesanya. And even
he gave Adesanya his toughest fight outside of Jan.
No, but like Adesanya would have finished him. Like, he got saved by the bell in that fight.
Yeah.
I mean, still, he gave Izzy a really tough fight, but it's. I mean, time has passed. Like, he hasn't looked the same since then. And yeah, bottom of C tier is fair.
His also last really good win was it like Ian Heinisch via wrestling or something?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he hasn't looked good of late, I will admit. Okay, yeah, I don't mind bottom C. I mean, I think like him and Strickland is a good fight.
I think Strickland destroys. I just don't think Kevin Gaslum is. I think this is harsh. I think he's a little washed. Yeah, he is.
He's a welterweight. He needs to fucking move down. But I think he's fighting Imavov next.
That's a fun fight.
I think he gets wrestled, but maybe he'll impress.
Yeah, I don't know who to. I think that's a. I mean, I've been high on Imavov, but I think that's a good fight.
I think for the people watching, this might be an example of recency bias too. What's Kevin Gaslam's last 5? Isn't he 1-4 or something?
Yeah,
but it's all against good people.
It's really bad.
Yeah. This is an Chucky. Good old Charles Oliveira.
Charlie Olives. Geez. I would say top B, up definitely upper echelon of the B tier.
No, top of C tier.
I feel like he's mid.
He gets hit so much.
I think that's valid. Actually, I think top of C tier might be. I think because I think that the fact that Conor still has a really good chance against him is telling.
Yeah, I mean, look, Charlie's cold as fuck. Like, he's cold as fuck. I love the guy, but he gets hit so much. He gets hurt every single fucking fight.
But I mean, so does Gaichi. Like, Gaichi gets hurt every single fight. Why? He's in B tier.
We know Gaishi's an actually competent striker. When Gaichi went to do the striking, not do the submission.
Gaichi's a more dangerous striker. If Gaichi and Oliveira kickbox, Gaichi would beat the shit out of him.
But Charlie Olives knocked out Michael Chandler.
I mean,
Gaichi went to a war with Michael Chandler.
But this is that we're doing MMA. If this is pure striking, if there was none of that other shit involved and they were just striking with each other, Gaichi would beat the shit out of Charlie Olives.
I don't even think that's true. If we look at Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, that first round, it was a really close round. Oliveira Yes, it was. Like Oliveira was marching him down. Like he didn't give a fuck about Poirier
He was
striking.
marking him down, and in the meantime, he was getting outlanded and knocked down and rocked.
Okay, if we look at the strike count, it was 54-48 to Dustin.
And Dustin had
really
knocked
close.
down and landed all the harder shots.
Oliver had a lot of great shots as well. It was a really close first round.
No, it was not a really close first round. It was a good first round, but it wasn't like there's not a single person who scored that first round for Charlie Olives.
If I remember round one, there was a reason Dustin was smiling a ton at the top of round two. I think Charles had a lot of good knees in round one, if I'm not mistaken, but I think Dustin clearly won that
No,
round.
Dustin was beating his ass for the first round. Like Dustin was whooping.
Did he cut out?
You there?
Oh yeah, did it cut out?
There you go. You were saying?
I was gonna say like you could just tell whose shots were hitting harder. Like it was very obvious.
I would say no. I mean, Dustin was winning. I will say that, but like it was close. And if Charlie Olives is a C tier fighter, I would expect like if Charlie Olives is a C tier striker, I would expect Dustin Poirier, an A tier striker, to destroy Charlie Olives in that first round.
But he didn't.
I mean,
difference is that like it's MMA and his ground game is so good that it makes up for it. It's kind of like Usman actually, except that
like you can't just strike like against Charlie like you would strike against anybody else. Like you have to always be worried about him grabbing a hold of you. Like if guys like Gaichi and Dustin didn't have to worry about that at all, like they'd be fucking him up.
Technically, he's really good. As well. I think technically he's also really good.
Offensively, he's tremendous. Defensively, he's not. He's real he's not. And if he didn't have a takedown to rely on, like Gaichi would beat the shit out of him.
I mean, again, like Gaichi has zero striking defense. Like his striking defense is like his chin. You know, I don't think it's fair to like knock him for that.
I think with Charles, I think his best strikes are his knees, but that's also a result of his grappling. You have like his teep, which is really good. I'm glad he uses that.
Yeah, he has a really good teep kick.
But like the fact that his knees are so prominent is because his grappling is so good. His Muay Thai style thing is very traditional, which isn't bad. I just think that it's his grappling that really makes up the difference. If he's like an S tier grappler, he might be SS tier. He might be the best grappler in the UFC currently, and one of the top of all time. We all know Khabib's number one, but still.
That's a different discussion. That's a different discussion because like
he's up there.
Yeah, but I would say that makes up for his like average striking.
Yeah, he's top of C tier. His striking leaves a lot to be desired, but it does what it needs to do to complement his skill set.
We'll figure out the order later because I don't know if he's top of C tier, but we'll put it there. I feel like let's do these two together. TJ and Dominic Cruz.
TJ's better than Dominic Cruz now.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I think Dominic Cruz or TJ did not outstrike Corey Sandhagen. He was getting destroyed on the feet. His wrestling made up the difference.
Wow, Corey Sandhagen, the second best striker at bantamweight. Like Dominic Cruz wouldn't touch Corey.
I think that Dominic Cruz with his wrestling is more interesting. Because TJ he shouldn't have won that fight. Like he didn't do any damage per the rules. He won because MMA judges don't know the rules.
Are we discussing Cruz? Are we discussing Cruz or Dillashaw? I'm confused.
Cruz. I think you have to put him in the same tier. I think Dominic Cruz is a comfortable B tier.
No,
I would put Dominic Cruz upper echelon B tier.
No, he almost him and Casey Kenny he might have lost that fight.
He didn't though.
I thought he schooled Casey Kenny.
He also beat Pedro Munoz clearly. He's also still like in the bantamweight division. He's still like a top 6 or 7 fighter.
Maybe.
No, he is like, and if you striking wise too, like Maravdashvili is not going to outstrike Dominic Cruz. He's going to out wrestle him. Like Jose Aldo could probably beat him. Let's be real. I don't know if TJ beats him in a straight up striking match is a thing.
I mean, I'd put Dominic at like the bottom of B and TJ in like the middle of B.
What? No,
this is the thing where I'm just gonna favor the lighter weight classes. Like in my opinion, like Cruz is just so much more skilled than Francis Ngannou. Like he's just so much more skilled than Justin Gaethje.
But like you have to weigh that against like the weight class they're in, you know.
Well, here's
No,
the thing,
I don't
though.
think so. Like
If
I
Dominic
think
Cruz,
Then why is S tier not like fucking Piotr Jan, Sean O'Malley? Like they're more technical than the bit. Like
no,
it's
but
like
with Dominic Cruz, his style transitions well to any weight class. Like you could put him at literally any weight class, and he would do well because his style is based on not getting hit. He's obviously lost a step as an age or two, but there's no way he's like bottom of B.
yeah, he's not bottom
I
of the.
I don't think he's any. I don't think he belongs much higher than fucking like Conor and Masvidal do.
Masvidal's style does not transfer well. Like the fact that Dominic Cruz could have no power and still become like a top 5 or 6 in the toughest division, and Connor's not even gonna smell the top 5. I think that's pretty telling.
Yeah, to me, like his movement is kind of what really distinguishes him. He's obviously lost like half a step as he's gotten older, and he has a ton of injuries, but he's still a really technical and not even it's even hard to say technical because like Cruz kind of like developed his own style in a way that works for him, and I think his striking is just really good.
Yeah,
So and just the fact that he's doing it in the bantamweight division is what's really impressive to me. So
yeah,
top of B tier, top of
yeah.
B tier.
I think with him too, like again, his style transfers well to any division. Um, I TJ I think is comparable. I don't think we should weigh the Cody and Cejudo loss too much for Dominic Cruz. TJ, he definitely beat Cody Garbrandt, but that wasn't God tier Cody who had the performance of a lifetime. I would maybe above Dominic Cruz, but his I don't know because his
Yeah,
wrestling
I
is
would
make a
put
difference for
TJ above.
Sanhagen.
I would put TJ above DC at this point of his career. At this point in their
Yeah.
career, yes.
Yeah, so I feel like you had to have both of them there, but TJ, we need to see his next fight. I don't think he beats this next guy, Jose Aldo. I think we put him comfortable mid A tier.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's lower than everyone we have in A right now for sure.
No, I
So
think
without it,
Yeah, you know what? I
he's
actually agree. No, yeah, Dermer's right on this. He's lower than Holloway for sure. I mean, Holloway schooled him in 2 straight fights, so he
yeah,
is.
he's lower than Holloway for sure. That's not even a question. The real question I have is he the last guy on A tier or the top guy on B tier? Is my
no
real
way
No,
question.
he's
he's
A
tier.
tier. He's A tier for sure.
Then
He's
he's
definitely.
the bottom of A tier.
I sure. I think that's fair. I think the fact that his style is just so good. But yeah, A tier, fair enough. Then since Max Holloway beat him, both
It's
beat
hard
him.
to say where he is in A tier because then like I would argue that I think Jose Aldo is a better striker than Robert Whitaker. Full stop. Like he's just better. Like technically.
But I mean, he's the smaller guys are going to be more. You know what I mean? Like if
But yeah, I mean, I'm going to favor the smaller guys. Like Jose Aldo is just a technically better striker than Robert Whitaker is,
I don't
and
know.
he's facing better competition,
That is true.
better
He is
strikers.
facing a lot better competition.
Yeah, I mean, like fucking Whitaker's outstriking Kelvin Gastelum, like whoop de doo, you know, like fucking like Jose Aldo just destroyed the person next on this list, Rob
Rob.
Font.
So actually, we'll figure out the order later because I think that's a really interesting discussion. Rob Font, I think, is comfortable mid B.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
mid B. Rob
I
Font's
would
mid
have
B.
him. I'd have him put him in front of Wonder Boy.
No, we're not.
I mean, yeah, I
Put him in
wouldn't.
front of Volkov at least. Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna leave him where he is. We'll discuss them. I think because I think he's like a better Sean Strickland. He has a good 1-2. His chin's a little suspect, but that's basically what he gets off on. 1-2 and really good cardio.
I think Jose kind of exposed that he's kind of like a better he's like a better Cody Garbrandt where like he relies a lot on his speed. Where like in that Jose Aldo fight, I thought Aldo kind of exposed a lot of the technical holes in Rob Font's game.
Yeah. I think that Rob Font did have a good first round, but after Jose Aldo knocked him down, it was like kind of over.
Yeah.
Live betting, baby.
Yep. Solid G.
These next, and so I want to remind everybody, this is made in February 2022, which is why you might see like Calvin Cater and Giga Chikadze here, out of like maybe some other people. Giga Chikadze is a really interesting person. How do we place him?
B tier.
Yeah, he's B tier.
Where in BT? Mid
That's a
up.
good question. I would say like mid B,
No,
mid
Conor
mid to
Masvidal.
mid top B. Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good spot in front of Volkov.
I don't even think so. I think he should be lower. Honestly, he gives me almost exactly Conor vibes where it's like he has a great 7.5 minutes and then
Well,
yeah.
the thing with Giga is that basically, if he has to worry about the takedowns, like he just turns into a boxer and stops kicking, which is like the best part of his game.
But I think
But if he
that's a
doesn't,
huge knock. That's a huge knock, like
that
on
is
his
huge
striking
knock.
ability.
But I
Like
mean,
I can't I really can't in good conscience like let him be like over some of those people like that we have him above right now. Like that's kind of
So
crazy to me.
would you say sure? So who would you argue he's below? Because I'm Giga Chat's such a weird person.
Honestly, I think he's at the way bottom of B tier. Like the fact that he can only fight for like 8 minutes without like the fact that his striking skill set can be so easily neutralized. You know what I mean? Like all you gotta do is take him down once and he turns into a fucking boxer. Like
This is striking though, right? This is not.
part of striking is being able to strike when you're fucking tired. Like
But like you said, the rest, because if you put him against the other people in his, I think this is recency bias. I think he's still favored against a lot of strikers in his division.
yeah, for sure.
I
Like,
mean, yeah,
Strikers,
but but like again, this is like the strikers list. Like all these people are great strikers. So the fact that like he can't keep up that great striking at the pace with almost any of these other guys, I think is a big knock.
I think he could beat, let's say, Josh Emmett in a fight, and I think Josh Emmett's similar to like Ngannou and Figgy. Um,
I
if
don't
we
know if
were to,
I think Josh Emmett might knock him the fuck out. To be honest, like
I don't know, but I think his
possibly.
defense match is really good.
I really don't. I really like him around Conor and Masvidal. Like I think he actually gives me very strong Conor vibes in the fact that like not even like he has like a great 8 minutes, but like after that, like it's just not the same.
Um,
And
let's.
like the fact that you can't keep up that striking output the whole fight and keep up like the best thing he does is his kicks. The fact that you can't keep do that the whole fight, like I feel like that's a huge knock on your striking ability. Like as good as you might be technically, like you can't use that technique.
So I think the reason we have Vicente Luke and Gaichi here is because of their chinniness, or not chinniness, but relying on their chin. Um, I think he's a better striker than Masvidal. Or would you like argue he's lower? Because
Um,
I
Chad
would really I mean I'd put him I think I'd have Connor above Masvidal too, but I'd have
Connor.
him right next to Connor to be honest, and Masvidal probably lower than Connor. That's probably what I'd do.
What do you think? Where should Giga Chad go? Or we could save this for later, maybe.
yeah, I mean, it's so hard. I would stick him somewhere in the middle, like maybe Francis Figgy range. Actually, no, I can't have him above Figgy though,
Like,
because of his cardio. So
how about we put him between Masvidal and Connor?
yeah, yeah, there's good,
We'll
there's
argue
good.
about Connor's spot later. Calvin
Um,
Kattar.
Calvin Cater.
I think he's above Rob Font.
No,
I think he was better than Rob Font, yeah. I think the problem is
no.
that Max Holloway just drowned him.
I'd put him like right around where Giga Chad is, honestly. I think technically in striking they're not too much. I don't think Cater's a much better striker.
I
Cater has
think
better cardio
Kattar
and he can use it
is a
more. But
top 4 or 5 striker. He was beating Zabit, but for some reason they made it a 3-round fight when it should have been 5. I could see him having pretty decent. Actually, we should have put Yair on here, but this is already a huge enough list.
Oh yeah, we kind of disrespected Yair.
There's too many on this list as it is.
Yeah, I
This is
know.
all
why
right,
we
well,
have more
just so
lists.
people know, Yair is B tier, top
Um,
of B tier.
I
Yair's
don't.
top B.
I
Yair's
think
Yeah,
top B. I
Cater
would say.
mid B,
Yeah, Cater's solid mid B.
yeah,
above font or below font.
below Font.
Uh, I would have. It's so tough. I would put him above Font.
2-1. I
Actually,
don't think it's a big difference. So
yeah, it's not a big difference at all.
Corey Sandhagen,
A tier, A
above
tier.
Between
A
Holloway and
tier,
Aldo, right
above
there.
all.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
above Aldo, below Holloway.
This is such a competitive fight between Aldo and Sandhagen that I don't know who wins either.
That's tough. That's so tough. I would favor Sandhagen.
I think
I
it
think the
is.
thing that impresses me with Sandhagen is I feel like he has such a wide array of attacks. Like, not like his hands aren't even his hands aren't the best part of his game, but like he has
Mhm.
like crazy kicks. He has the flying knee, obviously.
Fight IQ is really
Yeah,
good.
fight IQ is super good. He has the movement. Yeah, I mean, like the Jan Corey fight, like might literally be the most skilled fight in MMA history. You know, so
Yeah. So I think I would say I would probably this is gonna sound I'd probably bet Aldo and an underdog in this hypothetical fight just because I feel like
crazy.
Aldo would mix in the wrestling and
Yeah,
Sandhagen if TJ can beat you via wrestling, I think Aldo can. But I think Sandhagen's just a better pure striker.
yeah.
Um, we'll worry about that because Sandhagen beating Max might be interesting, but I'm not gonna make that argument.
No.
Melly, bottom
Sean
of
O'Malley.
top of B tier maybe or
Top,
slightly
the
below
top,
Cruz and
top spot
TJ.
on the top spot on the B tier for Sean.
I don't know.
I'm dude, I'm tempted on putting him at A tier.
A tier?
I'm tempted on putting Sean O'Malley A tier. I think his striking is really really fucking good. I mean, if you look at his record, like so he lost to Marlon.
Like he
I'm
got
willing
out
to
struck by Marlon.
I'm willing to throw that one out because of that leg kick. That
Like
leg kick really changed the fight.
yeah, exactly. But who he beat Palva and he beat what was Chris?
El Moutinho.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not particularly impressed with either of those.
Thing is, like he styles on these guys. Like yeah, his competition is not that good. Fucking style like all of them. And you even if like you're going against like the lower tier competition, if you're able to like demolish them like this comprehensively, like you're a really good striker. I think Sean O'Malley's a very good striker. So for me, bottom A, top B.
I think he's the single top spot, like the number one guy on the B tier is where I'd put him.
Yeah, I mean he's like he's definitely better than Dominic Cruz as a
But that's
striker.
the thing. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he could beat
He
Dominic.
is. Yes, I think I think he
Yeah,
knocks Dominic out.
yeah. I agree.
That's the problem is that like I don't know if he would competent. I would probably favor these two just via the wrestling, but like their style's so unique. I don't think he be Jose Aldo murders him. I don't think he's. I think there's a difference between Aldo and Sean O'Malley that's too huge.
I don't even know if that's true. I think that's a good fight. All
I
right, you
think
know
he
what?
calf
Because
kicks him and he destroys his legs and he's done.
um, so yeah, I mean, I guess that the narrative that he has a shitty calf. I mean, that's only because of the Marlon Vera fight. And
This is Jose Aldo who's calf kicks.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not A tier with Holloway and Aldo and Sandhagen. He's the top of B, and that's
all right,
good.
I'm willing to put him at the top of B. I'm just gonna give him a knock it just because he isn't fighting top tier competition. But if he is like when he does fight top tier competition and he is like beating them with his striking, then I would like he has to go to A at that point. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
think
as of now, he's
this is
B.
the February 2022.
yeah.
It's
All right,
like
I'll
it
give him a knock.
could
But
change in a month.
I think his potential is for sure A. Tier.
Potential for maybe, probably. Stipe. This is
C
interesting.
C
B
C.
B.
C base.
What's the argument?
Um, I mean striking is very rudimentary. Like he boxes, like period. That's it. He doesn't even really have a jab. Um, I mean, like his game is just like he has really good, like he just has like really good boxing, and I can't in good conscience like put him at B tier like with the rest of these
Well,
guys.
we put Font at B tier, just as like 1-2.
What?
Isn't that why we put Font at B tier though?
Yeah, but Font's a bantamweight.
Oh, what? Weird.
That's retarded.
What do you think, Dermer? I feel like he's B
B,
tier.
B tier. B tier, yeah, comfortably B tier.
Yeah, I think he outstrikes. He's probably what the third or fourth best striker. I think he beats So
You think he
another
beats Derrick Lewis? You think he beats Derrick Lewis?
I think that's the problem. It's the Derrick Lewis problem because you could always argue him in S or A tier because of his fuck you power. I think that's the difference. But technically speaking, Stipe could probably just outstrike him and then wrestle him to a comfortable
But
decision.
Stipe gets hit a lot too. Like
I think he came in with a bad game plan against Ngannou in the second fight. To be honest, he shouldn't have tried to do whatever, but Ngannou just improved too much. I think B tier is very comfortable.
if he is
Right.
B tier, I would say he's bottom.
I think he's
the
better
B
than
tier.
Conor and Giga Chad. I think he's better than Masvidal at the very least.
Shit.
What do you guys think?
I would
'Cause
put him. I don't know. Yeah, he's like Conor Giga Chad range.
Yeah, somewhere around there is fair.
Sure, we'll put him right here.
Yeah, let's put him in front of Giga Chad because he does at least have cardio.
Sterling's an interesting. I really don't know where to put this man. He has really good everything.
Next to Charlie Olive, honestly.
Where?
Next to Charlie Olive's, like he has no power. He has a good output, but he has no power. He has no head movement. Yeah.
Huh. I don't know about that. Wasn't he outstriking Jan for a while in like round 1 and 2? Then he gassed.
He was putting volume on him, but he wasn't putting Jan in any danger.
This one's a tough one, man. I don't know. I would just put him. I would just stick him somewhere in the B tier range.
I don't think so. I don't think he's better than Conor or Stipe or Masvidal.
I think he might be.
No.
This one's tough. He's like, for me, he's like bottom B ish.
He's right next to Charlie Olives for me. Right under Charlie Olives.
Top of C then?
Yeah, top of C, right under Charlie Olives.
Do you have a strong feeling about Sterling?
I'm not mad at that either.
I can take a lead for B.
All right, yeah, let's put him at C. Let's put him at C.
Yeah, right. Let's put him right under Charlie Olives.
Michael Chandler, I think like you had to put him next to like maybe below Masvidal.
No, I think he's also at the top of C.
I don't know. He was really competitive. I think he beats Conor. I think he could have beat
striking. He beats Conor if he mixes it up.
No, I think he can even beat Conor in striking because he is the hardest.
He is a short, orthodox wrestler with an overhand who takes clean punches to the face often. He's a fucking Conor's a nightmare.
No, he just.
I mean,
Conor just boxes now. So
yeah, I mean, I know that like this isn't really a Conor video, but we have to address the fact that Conor hasn't had a lightweight win since. It's kind of hard. Like I think Michael Chandler out Conor, especially.
Even if Michael Chandler does beat Conor, like it's through like power and youth and like activity. It's not through like technical striking prowess.
Isn't Conor younger than him?
How do we factor in like the explosiveness and speed of Chandler, because that is what he relies on, right? Like
that's like all he had. Like he's not a great technical. Like he's really not a great technical striker.
Well,
like he's.
I think
neither is Gaichi. Like neither is Gaichi.
But like let's take Gaichi and Chandler. Like they just fought. If Gaichi's like in B tier, like Chandler spent the last 2 rounds of that fight blocking punches with his face. Like
because like he barely lost the fight on a lost takedown, but Gaethje would have gotten.
No, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He barely lost the fight in a lost takedown. He got his ass whooped the whole last 2 rounds.
What? No,
I mean, let's be real though. If Chandler wasn't retarded and like actually like landed that takedown and like was able to control Gaethje through the end of the third.
If Chandler was able to land the takedown and then control Gaethje for the rest of the round, he would have won. Yeah, okay. If Conor knocked out Khabib, then Conor would have beat Khabib. Like you can't say that.
Comparable at all. Like Chandler could actually done that. Get Conor in no dimension beats Khabib.
Chandler in no dimension beat Gaethje. Like
what? That was that's okay. Like based on the fight, it wasn't really close because Gaethje outgassed him. Based on like the way it was judged, in this fight, because that third round was really close.
No, based on the way it was judged, we have the scores 30-26 Gaethje, 30-20. We have 4 30-26s for Gaethje, 3 30-27s, 6 29-7s, and 9 29-28s, all for Gaethje. Not a single person scored that fight for Michael Chandler.
We were saying it's a clear win, but that doesn't mean it wasn't close. It's like Figgy versus Moreno won. Figgy clearly won, but that doesn't mean it wasn't close.
Yeah, but like after
Yeah, again, I feel like we got like just as everybody agreed someone won doesn't mean it wasn't competitive. Like those are two different things.
Like
but like if you guys are acting like, oh, if like it was competitive, but like I mean Gaichi clearly won. Chandler wasn't like like everyone is one missed takedown away from winning. Like
and I also think that leads to the where Gaichi he would have gotten knocked out by those two overhands if he was anybody else in the division. Like that would have knocked out Conor, maybe not Dustin, but it would have knocked out pretty much everybody else in the division.
Yeah, I would put Chandler. I would put Chandler for B tier.
Idiots.
I mean,
but like again, like it's kind of like Kamaru, where Kamaru relies on his wrestling threat and his power. Like Chandler relies on his explosive. Like he's not a great. He doesn't have that much technical striking ability. Like he just doesn't. And like I guess you could say the same about Gaichi, relies on his chin. Gaichi's better. Like, yeah, but Gaichi's just better. So
not that much. That's why I would put him at B. I think he is below Gaichi, but I think still B.
I think he's. I don't think he's much better at striking than Charlie Olives is.
I mean, personally, I would put Charlie Olives in B as well. So
I'd have him top of C. I don't think Chandler is. I think his power is a lot of his power and explosiveness is a lot of what it is.
Charlie and maybe expand B tier because like I could see the problem with actually I don't even know. Chandler doesn't have a chin problem. He doesn't anymore. He's a weird one. So he's either like we can look at Charles later, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
I think Chandler.
Yeah, let's
really put
a B.
Put Chandler way
and above Giga Chad.
He's not above Conor. Chandler's not a better striker than Conor. Come on.
Everybody's above Conor.
I mean, look, Chandler fought like let's say that's the fight. That's Conor's comeback. Like
and he loses.
Beats him. I think Conor beats him.
Well, we got two more people.
If Chandler fights smart, because if Chandler wrestles him, he beats him. If Chandler tries to strike with him, he gets his ass knocked out.
We'll discuss in like 5 minutes because we'll arrange. This is already an hour long video. Well,
this is already an hour long, right?
Yeah, so we'll discuss that later. But Darren Till, I don't know where the fuck to rank this man.
B tier. B tier. He's got to be.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He fights to his level. He could have beat Robert Whittaker. He could beat Wonderboy Thompson. But I can see him getting knocked out by Jared Cannonier and losing to Kevin. He barely beat Kevin Gaslum. Like, I don't know where to rank him. He can fit in. He fights
I think he's mid B. He's mid B. He does have a mixed. He has a very mixed bag in terms of his results, but
he's bottom of B to me.
I think because the problem is that his one good win is Cowboy. Everything else is really close. Like he has a. I think he beat Rob. I think Wonderboy. Hey everybody, so our audio cut off here, but we still have some of the footage, so I sped it up, and I'm going to narrate over a part of it here. So we decided to put them in the best order here. We unanimously decided that Piotr Jan should be in SS tier, or as we later called it, Conor McGregor 2015 tier. If you're wondering what happened to Darren Till, we decided to put him in the center there, right, because he fights to his level of competition ultimately there. Shimayov, we put him at the bottom of C tier because we didn't really know his striking prowess. We just knew that he was a little bit better than Glover Teixeira. And ultimately, the bottom right there is Glover tier. Glover isn't necessarily a bad striker, but he is definitely the worst striker on this list right here. So you'll see various cuts where we decide who to order and why we need to order them there. So you see we're messing with C tier there, putting Sean Strickland right up top there. So Charles is, right there at C tier, top of it, followed by Derrick Lewis, Sean Strickland, Brandon Moreno. Sterling, we had a little bit of trouble trying to rate him there. Cannonier, good power, but not as much there. Nate Diaz, BMF, of course. And it was tough to rate him because he relies a lot on his attributes more than anything else there. Ultimately, with Shemaya, we decided to maybe create a question mark tier for him. but I decided, you know what? Let's just call it better than Glover tier, because we know that much, right? That no matter what, even if he's C tier, S tier, Super S, he's still better than Glover in our eyes there. So hopefully you're going to enjoy as you see the list keep on moving out through here. I think one of our big things was putting Chandler below Conor McGregor. We had a good 20-minute discussion about that. Or not 20 minutes, like 5-minute discussion about that. But yeah, I'm upset because we missed about 20 minutes worth of footage here at the end, which had a lot of interesting discussion here. But regardless, this is still an hour video. So like, comment, and subscribe. Do you agree? Do you disagree? You're going to comment that we forgot something. Also, keep in mind this is a February 11th, so the next UFC pay-per-view is coming up, so this could very well change. Who knows? But remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I guess hit the bell. I don't know. Peace out, guys.